Welcome back to another edition of This Week in 3 Minutes. I've called this one Be Resigned. Interesting to watch the markets, I'll tell you. All but the Nasdaq just can't seem to recover from the volatility in last month. So we'll be seeing where that's going. Gold seems to be sort of stuck in this 1320 to 1340 range. Has been bouncing around there, but that's actually pretty good. It's showing some stability, which is kind of inspiring. I found out this morning, maybe some of you will recall back in 2009, the CEO of Goldman Sachs made the crazy statement that they were doing God's work. And I just found out that Lloyd Blankfein is in fact going to be resigning. And I thought, there seems to be a wave of resignations going on this year. This week as well, Cohn, who was quoted as the only adult at the table, was a White House economic advisor. He's resigning, largely, I suppose, because he just doesn't like this tariff stuff going on. Hope Hicks, the communication director, she's resigned. Janet Yellen resigned. And I thought, what else was resigned this year? And it was quite a laundry list. So I sort of pared it down to what I see as this year's resignations. And so we've got ultra low interest rates seem to be have resigned. We see threats of 3 or 4 rate hikes this year. The record highs in the stock market, with the exception of the Nasdaq, those have all resigned. They've put in their 2 weeks, I guess. J.P. Morgan has stopped shorting the silver market, which is interesting. So they've resigned from their short position. The U.S. dollar has resigned from being the only currency for OPEC nations to sell their oil in. The sanity in South Africa has definitely resigned. If you don't know what's going on in South Africa, take a look there. That's frightening. Gold appears to have resigned as a risky asset for banks, pension funds, and insurance companies, as OSFI has announced that it's a zero risk-weighted asset. The U.S. seems resigned to increase its debt ceiling and initiate trade wars, and Europe appears to be resigned to accept the collateral damage with these crazy immigration policies they have. So what I'm getting at is it seems like a lot of sanity has resigned, and one of the other definitions for resign is to accept that something undesirable cannot be avoided. And I am personally resigned to the fact that it's coming, and I don't know what exactly it's going to look like, but I saw a quote this week that stuck out of my mind, and that is, most people prefer to buy what's going up rather than what will go up. And I think that's a perfect way to describe what happens in the market. It's fear of missing out on the upside, and fear of losing everything on the downside. And those who make money are the ones who take a contrarian position to the emotional investing that most of the investment world participates in. This buy when it's up and sell when it's down, which is I seem to recall reading somewhere you're supposed to buy when it's down and sell when it's up. so if you're waiting for some interesting activity in the markets, I think the year is here. And if you bought thinking gold is going up, I think you've made the right decision. Unfortunately, not everybody seems to have that kind of wisdom. So a tip of the hat to you. Good luck. I think it's going to be a great year for those of us who own the metals, and a lot of fear for those who don't. So anyways, on that note, have yourself a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.